Stairs, and I missed the last. Dunkin' Donuts.
11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
It smells really yummy,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're not sharing is quite perturbing at best.
I'm sorry, do you have a 2-year-old and a 1-week-old at home?
She was sleeping all the time. Took her to the doctor.
Thought something was wrong
We
with
were
her.
young. We were in early 20s. Yeah, no, yeah. Brought her to the doctor. The doctor says, she's sleeping all the time.
Christmas early?
Yeah,
Ay, ay,
say a
ay.
prayer of thanks. That's right. Yeah. Thank God you didn't get 2 of them.
Yes, I know. They're talking, so I'll let them finish talking.
Went to Tahoe, so my nephew graduated. So,
Wow, I haven't seen a crowd this small in a while.
it was very nice. As I said, I couldn't breathe, but whatever.
No, another,
Good evening, everyone.
get them to drive your car.
Hello, hello. Good evening, and welcome to Minneola City Council meeting. Call to order, moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. Vice Mayor? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So sorry, I didn't do that little. Then again, the dog's not here. I know, we're good. We don't need that. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, agenda review. Start with you, Mr. Yeager.
I'm
Agenda
fine.
look okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say one thing about the agenda, Pam?
Yes.
Yeah, so, thank you. As people in the public may see, well, let's take a step back. So, as those that were here and those watching recall, I did ask for a call to remove Denise Calderon. As you can see, it's no longer on the agenda. After really reflecting and understanding what happened and what's best for the city, I spoke to Mark and I asked him to remove it from the agenda. Right now is the time to really cool down temperatures, not to really throw up our daggers. Rather than removing those that need, or those that do something wrong, if you will, now is the time to really show leadership, to show them how to really run meetings procedurally. And I apologize, I've only got an hour and a half of sleep. My daughter was just born last week, so I'm running on fumes right now. It's to show them what it takes to run a meeting by giving them training and lessons and really showing them the leadership that they require rather than having a negative connotations toward them. And I think that goes not just for P&Z, but also for all of council. I think there's times where we've all been outside of procedure, outside of policy. So Mark and Scott, if we could, if you guys can find something that you can send to both P&Z and council regarding Robert's Rules of Orders, of how to follow procedures and policies, I think that'd be great for both, like I said, P&Z and for council. And as I mentioned, I think now, especially for those that may be unexperienced and not sure how to run a meeting, this is a good opportunity for them to really step it up and be able to see how it is we can do better as a council and as a P&Z. That's it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and that is something that if we can please arrange that, Mark and Scott, whatever needs to be done. But thank you for coming forward and saying that.
No problem.
And I thank you too, Mr. Hernandez. I love your reflection, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yes. With that said, and I'm not, because thank you, like, again, but I don't mean to not discredit, but ignore what you said.
Sure.
Joe, are you good with the agenda?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, then I'll come back. Again, thank you. That was it. I just wanted to make sure Joe was good with the agenda, and I didn't leave him out, and then we go on to the meeting, and then we forget him, and
Oh,
that's,
that's never happened before.
I know, it's never happened before. I try not for that to ever happen. Okay, Mark, agenda looks good? Scott?
All good.
Okay, moving along. Public comments? Anyone in the audience that would like to speak on anything other than what's on the agenda, please come forward.
Denise Calderon, 814 Oxbow Road. Mayor,
evening.
council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I want to begin by saying that I do love this city and the people in it, and that is why I serve, and that is why I am here tonight. Yes, a request was made to remove me from Planning and Zoning Commission. When that item was placed on the agenda, I did not ask for it to be withdrawn. I asked that it remain because serious allegations were raised publicly about my conduct as chair, and the residents who put their trust in the body deserve to hear the full story. The item has since been removed from the agenda, and so I'm addressing it now on the record. I take this real seriously. Since my appointment, I have devoted significant time in reviewing agendas, ordinance, and staff reports, and listening to residents so I can serve the people of Minneola the best of my ability. Public service to me is exactly that, service. Every action I took at the meeting in question was done in good faith, with the goal of conducting the meeting fairly and respectfully. Before the meeting began, I proactively raised a potential concern with the city attorney involving a family member who might speak during a public comment. I disclosed the situation and asked whether I should chair the item. I then followed the guidance I was given. The city attorney, city manager, city clerk, and members of this council were all present at that meeting, and at no point was I advised that I had violated any ordinance, rule, or procedure. Following the meeting, I again sought feedback and was told more than once that I was fine. I fully recognize reasonable people can have disagree about meeting management and procedural preference, and I always be the first to welcome training, clarification, and honest feedback. Good leaders never stop learning. But I also believe in fairness and due process. Publicly seeking removal of a volunteer commissioner without identifying a specific violation or offering guidance or attempting any less dramatic measure is not the standard our residents expect their government, and is not the standard I will ever hold myself to. I think it's also important to note that Planning and Zoning Commission is not intended to be a political body. Commissioners are appointed to review applications, evaluate evidence, and make recommendations based on the merits of the matters before them. To preserve that independence, commissioners may not be removed simply because an elected official disagrees with them. Removal requires cause under the city code. Yet throughout the entire process, no cause was ever identified. No ordinance violated was cited, no ethical violation was cited, no misconduct was cited, and no finding was ever made that I acted improperly. Nevertheless, a public removal hearing was scheduled upon the Vice Mayor's request. The timing of that request is impossible to ignore. It was initiated while I'm actively running for mayor of the city. If there had been a legitimate concern about my conduct as chair, one would expect a clear explanation of the alleged wrongdoing and evidence establishing cause. Instead, what occurred was a public effort to place my removal of a city council agenda without identifying basis of removal. The residents of Minneola can draw their own conclusions from those facts. I'm not here tonight to attack anyone personally, but I do believe the public deserves transparency. A removal process that exists to address actual misconduct should never be used as a political tool against a volunteer public servant, particularly during active election season. The question was never whether someone disagreed with the decision I made while presiding over a meeting. The question was whether cause existed to remove me from office. It did not, it does not. And the reality is the reason this matter ultimately could not withstand public scrutiny. Again, my purpose here is not to criticize anyone personally. My purpose is to ensure the public record reflects the truth. that I acted in good faith, sought guidance when questions arose, and at all times worked to carry out my duties fairly and professionally. How we treat one another in moments of disagreement says a great deal about the kind of city we want to be. I remain committed to serving the residents of Minneola with integrity, professionalism, and respect. Minneola is growing fast, and the decisions we make now shape the community for generations. I'd rather spend energy meeting the challenges together than tearing one another down. Let's move forward and focus on people we all serve. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. I live in the Clay Road District. Farm tip of the day, it is watermelon harvesting season, and here's a super cool hack of when to harvest your watermelon. The vine that goes from the plant, from the ground out, will hit a vine that goes to the actual fruit. Where they meet, they intersect, on the opposite angle will have a green curlicue. When that green curlicue is black or brown all the way to where the two vines meet, your watermelon is ready to be harvested. Mayor, council, distinguished guests, is America ethically and morally bankrupt? Are we living in a society now that is all about self rather than communal good? Do we live in a transactional society where everything is for own good? There's an adage, you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul trailer. You can't take it with you. If you ask any hospice nurse what the reoccurring theme, the reoccurring story on our deathbed is, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I didn't work as much. I wish I was kinder and nicer and more decent. 20 college students were given $10 each. 10 of them were told to go spend it on themselves. 10 of them were told to go spend it on somebody else. The 10 that spent it on themselves came back and their happiness stayed the same, flatlined. Those that spent it on somebody else, their happiness increased. Joy is found in serving others. During World War II, Austrian factory owner Oskar Schindler saved over 1,400 Jews. At the end of the war, when those 1,400 survivors came together to thank him for saving their life, do you know what he did? He broke down in front of them. He kicked his car and he said, I could have saved 20 more of you. I don't need this. I began with a question, and I will end with a question, and that is, if we are not here to serve each other, why are we? I am Farmer Banks Helfrich, candidate for State House District 25, and I am here to serve. May you all be blessed. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, guys, thank you very much. And I will go ahead and close public comments, project updates. Eric, would you like to start with the project updates?
Yes, sorry.
And we
Thank
have Fred and Dan here to help answer those, any technical questions that may arise.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, Mark, while I pull it up, you want to give us, I know we met earlier today at the trailhead. You want to give us an update on that? Fred, of course, you were there as well while I pull up the project update list.
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking to Mark.
One of you guys.
Hey, good evening. Yes,
Good evening.
as far as Trailhead Park goes, we are, the construction company has mobilized on the site. The park is now closed for the next approximately 6 months. We are working out issues with the conservation easement and the St. John's stormwater permit. We met with St. John's on site today to verify, if you will, the new wetland area that's being proposed. And so we just probably got a 30-day window before they can give us an answer on that. And but we're moving forward.
Okay. Did we ever hear back? Did they say anything after they did their tests?
No, nothing to report. So of course, you know, they're geologists, so they gotta get back with the engineers, and
Right.
the engineers to get back with permitting.
so on and so
permitting to
forth.
Get back with, you know, so on and so on, so, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So first on the list, this is for the, actually, City Hall Fire Station, we can close that out, so we can do that. The Grassy Lake Road striping, widening, and stop signs. I think, Fred, you mentioned that they were gonna start on that, now that I know the county had a new engineer to look at it, but I think they gave the final approval on it.
Yes, so we got the county's right-of-way permit. We got the grant coordinator's approval. So we applied for the notice to proceed with DOT, and DOT wanted us to add a clause to the contract with the contractor. So we got that added, and we got it in for signature. I think Christine got it signed for me today. So as soon as we get that back to DOT, we can start work on education.
Okay, awesome.
So there's a couple of elements on Grassy Lake Road. There's a couple of little small parcels that need to be, easements rather, that need to be turned over to the city so we can work on that crosswalk piece. The crosswalk kind of gets outside of the road right away. And so we're working on those as well, so. But we will get started on education, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Do we have an expected day of completion?
Yeah, summer 26.
Something, okay.
No, actually, we're really, you know, we're still pushing for that. We may get into August. I'm hoping we'll be done by August. I'm hoping. So
Okay.
we'll see how aggressive they can move once we get the notice to proceed.
All right. And Jennifer, I know that, of course, you're on the board over at Ardmore. Any concerns from your end? Yeah, they got to come up. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out of the blue, but,
I mean, my main concern is that school starts, you know, mid-August, so is there going to be, I mean, it's either you have to get it done now, or you're gonna have to wait, so.
Says the question, is there be any inconvenience, of course? So, I mean, yeah. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
I seriously doubt if I'm hoping we'll get education done before school starts, so that'll help alleviate but yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess there will have to be some sort of logistic plan to get these kids to school, the walkers and the car lines, because it's a hot mess over there for sure. But specifically Ardmore, no, I don't have any concerns with that. We'll be excited to have it done.
Thank you.
awesome, thank you. All right, let's talk about that. The second fire station in the Hills.
Second fire station in the Hills, we are moving forward with the site plan. We expect to have something back by mid-July, and as far as a final, like a 90 to 100% deal there. So we're working on that. We've been going back and forth, answering questions, so we're moving forward.
All right, let's ask our panel SME, Joe, on fire station. Any comments or questions?
No,
All right. You're happy with the design, everything's good?
I haven't seen the design. I've seen the renderings.
The
but
renderings?
I haven't seen the design.
Do we have initial designs that we can share with Joe?
We have the architectural renderings we've shown to them.
Okay.
And then we also circulated those with both Gen Florida and Scorman's to make sure it met what they were trying to do. It met the Hills, they have a separate set of standards. So we made sure everybody was okay with them, and they've gave us their blessing on it.
Okay, awesome.
Excellent. Good to hear. Thank you.
This one's closed.
I think the Scorman's had a few suggested changes to the materials, and the architects took that under advisement, and I believe they're going to switch those out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, me personally, I just care about making sure we have a station there ASAP to service the residents, how it looks. I mean, it's important, but I think, in my opinion, that's secondary right now. It's just about getting that service out there. So leave that up to you, and whatever you think it looks good, then I think it looks good too.
I appreciate it. And in the meantime, also, we're serving that area out of the Ferndale station.
You got it. Right.
Okay.
Oh, can I ask?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not using the same doors, I presume?
Good answer.
Don't even go there.
If we are, they're going to be mounted differently,
They're
for
gonna
sure.
be-
Well, but Orlando is stopped using them, period. They're a disaster. So we really need not to go down that trail.
Yeah.
We already went down that trail once, and excuse my French, ass backwards, because they shouldn't be, the outside shouldn't be seen, it should be inside. And if we had them inside, and of course, but then we couldn't fit the engines. And can we make sure this time that our uniforms, when we have a place for the uniforms, are big enough to put the uniforms? And there's enough room to put double-stack trucks or whatever. But it doesn't make any sense to go down the road that took almost a year and a half to get rectified, and then when they rectified, it's half-assed at best right now.
Yeah, can we, to David's point, can't we just put roller doors, call it a day?
You could. The reason why those doors were selected by the previous fire chief was two reasons. One, they open faster a little bit than the roll-up doors. They can get the trucks out quicker, because they do measure calls by seconds. How quick can the guys get on the truck? How quick can the truck get out? And the second thing is we are required now to do exhaust capture systems. So if you look, the trucks are fitted with a magnet on the end of their exhaust pipe. And then we have a system that mounts to that. And then when the trucks are started inside the bay, that exhaust is pumped out of the building. And then as the trucks move out, that magnet
Disconnects.
comes off and disengages, and then they pull out. That's all in an effort to reduce cancer with firefighters. And so because of that exhaust capture system, it really, made it prohibitive to try to use a roll-up door.
Got it.
And in all due respect, I get that, but Orlando has more fire stations than we'll ever see in our lifetime if we lasted 1,000 years. And they, so the response time, that doesn't carry any weight, because they're in and out of their fire station 50 times. But Station 1 has those doors, and there's no other station in design now they're going to use those doors. So do what you want, but at the end of the day, why do we want to have something we have to keep maintaining and something that doesn't work properly in the first place? And, it's fine that the fire chief, got those doors. The exhaust thing, as I said, we can look at 60 Orlando fire stations. You can go to Orange County. You can go up to the villages. But there is an issue, and we waited, I don't know how long, but it would be nice to source something so we actually get it fixed if there was a problem. Thank you.
Next, we have the wastewater treatment plant.
So on tonight's council agenda, that we have the CMAR contract for approval, and also the screw press for approval. And those will be, once you guys approve it, obviously we'll get the ball rolling on both of those and start with the treatment plant upgrades and biosolids management upgrades. In your sheets, you'll see some cost analysis that was done on the payback period of the screw press. I think is well worth the money to do.
So invested.
With our growth, it'll help us to dispose of our sludge.
How are we looking at capacity? Are we still, I don't want to say in the green, but are we trending in a bad direction, or are we going to be stable for the upcoming growth that we're experiencing?
We're on track.
We're on track, okay.
We're at 0.75, peaks to 0.8 right now. We'll have our aeration equipment, which is on order. We've authorized the vendor to build it and send it to us. That'll be in when the CMAR contract starts as first order of business, and we'll be at 1.2. So I think we should be in good shape if the growth continues the way it has been,
Okay.
unless there's another huge spike. But
Right. But I think, so,
I think our timing is pretty good.
perfect. And that's what I want to know, because I've been hearing a lot of angst and rumors from both residents and from commercial entities where they've been hearing that we don't have enough growth to sustain, right? And I just want to I want to clear that up to make sure that, again, like you just said, given the growth, that we should be fine if we continue on the path of upgrading the wastewater treatment plant.
That's correct. I mean, some of the new developments that are coming on will have to wait till the plant's done.
Okay.
But the ones that are on the books, we're going to get through, I think, okay, if it stays like this.
Okay.
And I do notice a trend that in the hotter months that the snowbirds leaving does reduce the flow. a little
Reduces
bit.
the flow, right.
We'll pick back up in the fall.
Got it.
Very good, all right.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask 2 questions?
Absolutely, go ahead.
One, it's screw press is probably, the one you have now is the original one, isn't it?
What we have now is a gravity belt thickener.
Okay,
It does about 6-7% solids,
correct.
and it's still a liquid, considered a liquid sludge when it leaves. What we're getting will do an order of 15 to 18% solids.
Okay. And it's still going to dump it into a bin or a,
Currently, we take the liquid waste and mix it with the sludge tank that we have. So we're kind of recycling in the same tank we're pulling from. This will make it more efficient in the way that it'll go into a sludge trailer or a roll-off and can be hauled off as a solid and not be put back anywhere. It's just, only the liquid portion goes back to the headworks of the plant.
so much more efficient.
Yes, yes, sir.
The force main we're putting in are you, who's overseeing that with Junior Davis?
Our construction manager and.
Yeah,
somewhat
I am.
Brad.
Yes, you know, as I said the other day, we had 2 open holes, and now they have fence around it, but it might just want to pay attention to them. Not that I don't trust them, but I don't trust them. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep, no problem. All right, sorry, I was going down. Next is the trash contract. I know, Debbie, thank you for the presentation and the info you gave us last time. Where we stand now after that? So now that we have the swag numbers, do we now go into proper bidding, or what does that timeline look like?
So this council has the option of extending the contract we have and making some tweaks to it, or going out for bid. You could do either one. We'll support whichever decision y'all make, of course, but we're getting pretty good rates being offered to us now if we extend it with who we have. But it's ultimately y'all's decision how you want to handle that.
Debbie, any, of course, since you're the subject matter expert, what's your recommendation, you know?
As
on
the
that?
SME.
Yeah.
No, my recommendation, I mean, we have had great conversations with Skip, and we know what we're getting with the current service, and they are giving us a great price, and if we extend the contract, I think it'll benefit us as a whole, as a community.
All right. I think if it's the council's will, can we add this item to the next meeting's agenda? That way we can discuss it and see whether we want to extend or move it open to.
Sure.
Absolutely, and if we need to, only if we have the time, if we need to workshop it as well, if we do have the time is what I'm stating, because I don't want it to take up too much of a meeting if it comes down to it. Thank you.
Yeah, time's not the issue. The issue is getting the best deal and doing the right thing.
Well, I need to
So-
make sure that time is not the issue, and I wanted to make sure that that was not the issue, and then we can take it from there, whether it's the proper service or the amount. My point is I want to make sure that we look at this as a total completely. And if we do have to bring it to workshop, please. That's also, if council's consensus, if you want to workshop it.
Well, I will tell you, in my investigations or going through all the pricing with the different companies, a lot of it, if you went on pricing, it was the newer companies were lower. But at the same time, I think, okay, they're lower, what kind of service are we going to get? And are we doing OJT? Let's be honest. I don't want to do on-the-job training and spending that time where they get to know our city. Right now, I think we've got a great service. They're really working hard, and we've got great pricing if we extend the contract.
So I think a good middle ground, to Pam's point, to Debbie's point, we can do I agree on the workshop. Let's do a vote to see what we want to do. I think if the council's will is to extend, obviously, I don't think a workshop's needed, but if it's the council's will to open up for bid, then I believe a workshop will be needed to understand what the lessons learned are and what is it that we want to see from the new contract, so we don't spend an entire council meeting talking about trash.
Exactly.
Can I add something to that? So as an audience member out there watching this way, they did it to themselves. So we want to make sure that it's clear where we're at, but they did to themselves meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, not doing what they should have done the first time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know how I feel
Yes.
about it, right?
So again, outside looking in.
Sure.
They're here, we're here at this, it's not a final, yes, we're done.
Right.
We're here because of them.
Of 100%, 100%.
So they did it to themselves, so we just have to make sure that it's very clear that it's right this time.
Yep, agreed. I agree. That's what I'm saying for the next meeting. If, again, if we decide as a council we want to extend it, as we have conversation, then I think a workshop's not needed. But if we decide that we're going to open up to
I think maybe then the
bid.
next meeting, we can discuss that
Correct,
then.
correct.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fine.
Yep. Again, and opening to bid
That's-
doesn't mean that we're going to not go with them. It's
Right,
just
right, right,
opening
right, right,
the
right.
possibility for investigation.
Right, exactly. And I completely agree with that, but again, it's up to council as a whole.
Yep, all right.
Joe, any comments?
Yeah, before I discuss it at any meeting, I'd like to see the contract,
The current or
The
proposed?
red line,
the proposed contract.
okay.
The proposed.
We'll make sure it's in the packet for the next meeting.
Yeah, it was in the
So it's in there for you to see, he said.
For the next one.
Is it going to be in there for the next one, or it was in there?
It was in there, but we're going to have some tweaks to it since then, and so
Okay.
we'll put the updated version
Perfect.
in there.
Thank you.
We were
Okay.
both right.
And
Thank you.
so my comment on that, Joe, is very analytical, and just make sure it's enough time, like the rest of the council, to really look at the contract.
Right.
Because if there's anyone who will pick it out, it's the man all the way to the left.
It's you.
Oh,
No, not you.
no, I know it's him. It just depends on which way you're
The
looking.
other man to the left, sorry,
The-
the far left.
Oh, the
So-
far, oh, you mean that man over there? Or
No,
this man
no,
over here?
the council,
I-
council
Oh,
man.
Council man, okay,
I,
that's you.
I think because of David, to your point, maybe we can do is put it for not the following, but the one after. But yet, if you can send the current contract to all of council, that gives us plenty of time to review.
Agreed.
I
You know
think
what?
we're still ahead of schedule, if you will, for this conversation, so I think
Yes.
it'll be good.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Joe, anything else?
No,
Okay.
all I want is the new contract.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect.
All right, that one's done. Okay, so, speaking about workshops. So now that we have Trailhead underway, I think it's a good opportunity now to bring up another workshop for the 3-acre parcel at the Hills, which does not belong to the CDD. Chase, thanks for being here. As we all remember, that was a very contentious workshop. I think the residents now have a good background of it, so I think it's time to revisit that, and let's see what we can do to continue with our efforts to extend our Parks and Rec. Could be nothing, but it could be something, but I think it's a good time to bring up the second workshop.
I agree.
Okay,
10-4.
so any particular dates? I know we
Soon
have
as possible.
Summer, I agree, but I know we have summer here. A lot of people take vacation, so I just want to make sure we're cognizant of everybody's vacation time.
I'm good. I'm
Soon as
good for the next
possible,
one.
and
Okay.
You have something in mind?
I'm off of work for the next 12 weeks, so.
Nice.
I'm booked. I mean, I'm open, so, well, whenever we want to do it. I'm up at 3 a.m. if you guys want to have a call then, you know, keep you
No,
company.
I'm good.
We can do July 14th. Think everybody will be back from any 4th of July plans that may have
Actually, we have a workshop set for that date,
for,
for the 14th. I have it on my calendar.
I don't have that.
I will be out of town. Family members having a major surgery on July. It was going to be July 6th, and then the surgery got moved to July 13th.
Okay, so that date's out,
Okay, that date's out.
because you need to be there.
right, no, but I think to Pam's point, we don't know what this workshop is about, if there's something.
Yeah, what workshop is on the 14th?
July 14th.
I don't have it.
Oh, well, would you look at that? Then I was going to be at a workshop, don't know what it was for, but I was
door
going to
would
be
have
there.
been locked, Pam.
It would have been, no, I would have gotten in,
You sure it
Joe.
wasn't a hair appointment?
You might be right, so let's delete that,
All right,
sorry.
so 14th is not good. Do we want to keep it on do we want to go that week? We want to keep it on a Tuesday, because the next Tuesday will be the 28th. Again, we have time, so it's not super pressing, but I do want to get it scheduled,
What
so.
about the 16th on a Thursday? No?
I think Mark's still out. Mark,
you're
what's
still out?
convenient
Yeah,
for
he's going
for
to
you?
be out.
Okay.
Probably be there the whole week of that week.
Yeah, that's fine, so we'll do the 28th.
Let's
July
do the 28th.
July 28th.
And if whatever reason that we need to reschedule that, Mark, so be it, okay?
Chase, if you could
Thank you.
inform your fellow neighbors, thank you.
And if you can't,
July
tell us,
28th.
please. Take care of that stuff first.
July 28th, 6:30, workshop.
Yep.
I'm old school.
Okey dokey. Moving right along. We have the second phase of septic to sewer.
So yeah, that's still on hold until we get the plant expansion done, right? So we're holding on that.
That one's closed, Memorial Wall's closed, Splash Pad's closed. Oh, the pier.
I had it on my list. Mark, the pier?
Yeah, they met with the
Derek?
scout troop this week, and it's in permitting right now, so that's, everything's on hold till we get the permits from the various entities that we have to get permits from, Army Corps of Engineers and state, so.
St. John's too.
Still in permitting,
So perfect.
still in permitting.
Still in permitting.
Right, and that's it. Council, any other projects, items you want to bring up for updates?
Anyone, before I mention mine? Anyone? Joe, everyone's good? The speed humps. These kids are out there, they're playing, and these parents are asking, what is going on? I
With,
said, I'll find out the speed humps in Park Valley.
okay, you and I need to meet on that.
Yeah,
And-
10-4,
Okay.
let's do it.
Yeah, we'll schedule a meeting about it.
We'll schedule it after tonight's meeting. Thank you.
And can you put me on your calendar too for South Avenue?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thanks, Case.
Thank you. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, moving right along, city manager's consent agenda. Questions, comments,
I
anything
have
at
a
all?
question.
Sure, sir.
Item 5, Mark. So I know we took that over and vice versa, so how long are we going to pay for things?
So in our agreement with the county, just like their agreement with, that they have with us, while we're there occupying it, we handle the building maintenance, and the same with the county. At Galena Station, they handle, if their AC went out at the building we have on Galena, the county would have to pay for it.
Okay, we're trading off.
Yes, sir.
Because when we first did this, and I was in the audience, we traded off, and we were always on the turnpike. And I know that costs us a lot of money, so I just want to make sure this trade-off is even this time.
More even than what it used to be. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. That was it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? In that case, I get a motion to approve the city manager's consent agenda.
Motion?
One thing, if you could.
Yes, sir.
At least one of these agreements needs some additional work. Substantively, it'll be the same, but if you could do your typical subject to city
Number 7.
attorney, city manager review and revisions. Thank you.
Number 7, right?
Yes, number 7, yes.
So moved?
So you want to pull it out?
No, you can just approve it subject to that condition.
Okay, thank
It's,
you. I'll make a
as I say,
motion.
Substantively, we're good. We just need a few more legalese things, that's all.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve the city manager consent agenda. Item 7 needs a little bit more work, the attorney, so with that stipulation, move forward.
I have a first. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving right along, discussion and action items. Item 8, ordinance 2026-11, sale of city property, second reading.
Oh, thank you.
Please, Mr. Attorney, read the ordinance.
Ordinance on second reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, acting as a governing body of the Minneola Community Redevelopment Agency, approving the sale of certain real property located east of Citrus Grove Road and south of Turkey Farm Road within the Minneola Mountain Community Redevelopment Area pursuant to Section 163.380 Florida statutes, accepting the purchase offer submitted by Citrus Ridge Retail LLC, authorizing the execution of a purchase and sale agreement and related closing documents. authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to effectuate the sale, providing for conflicts, severability, and effective date.
This is a piece of land that was left over to Overlook, the people that did Overlook JTD land, when Citrus Grove Road was relocated through their property as a part of their subdivision development. So they had the option to, the city had the option to request them to give it to us, and they did. It's a very tiny, kind of awkward piece. I believe there's a cell tower on it, and it's a little over 2 acres, but we have someone that is willing to buy it to combine it with their property that's adjacent to it, which will give them a little bit more room, but it will basically give us a little bit of income off a piece of property that it would be hard for us to do anything with at that size. So we recommend that. It is in the CRA though, because it was a part of the original Overlook property, so being that it is in the CRA, so it'll have to have CRA approval also. And can I make it subject to a minor correction on the ordinance? Okay, thank you. Just, it's in the downtown CRA.
Wrong CRA.
It's okay, just that correction, thank you.
What is it?
It's in the
actually the
downtown
downtown
CRA.
CRA.
Overlook's in the downtown CRA. I mean, I know it seems like it would be in the mountain, but Overlook and Founders are actually
right
in
on
the
the outer
downtown
boundary.
because it was before the mountain.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone on council have any questions, comments?
Yes, is that, did we finally, Mark, settle on a price? And I know they had some turtles and issues there. Are we all good now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, I guess we need to clarify that. The contract that's in your packet does not include any reduction. There was an email I think you may have seen in the packet, and I know Tara's here. I don't know if she wants to address it. The price, the proposal, backing up just a second, because it was in the CRA, we publicly advertised this for any proposals. We received one, the one you have before you. Their proposed price was $375,000, and that's what the contract you have in your packet reflects. In doing their due diligence, they have located, as not surprising, we have gopher tortoises, and they have estimated the cost to remove those on that piece alone somewhere in the neighborhood of up to close to $70,000. They have asked for a price reduction up to the documented cost of the gopher tortoise relocation. And so if you would approve it, if you're willing to do that, if you could approve it with that change. So there's language, optional language in your packet to do that, if you're willing to do that.
Perfect, thank you. Before I bring it to the audience, anyone else on council have any questions or concerns? Okay, anyone in the audience?
Tara Tedrow, Lowndes Law, 2 and 5 North Yola Drive, Orlando, Florida. Since I was thinking of this at 3 a.m. too last night, Eric, up with the baby. Happy to talk about it here with everybody present. But I appreciate Scott giving that clarification.
Thank you.
Otherwise, the offer is as set forth in the packet, and it's very, I think awkward is a nice way of putting it. It's 2 acres, less than 50% of it's usable because it's bifurcated by a transformer. So it's really just to open up some access into the property off of Turkey Farm Road, now called Camp Lake Commerce Drive. So appreciate your consideration of that acquisition under the terms as modified by tonight's clarification.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Okay, I'll bring it back to council. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion with the modification for the consideration for the gopher tortoises, please.
Perfect, I have a first. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, 5-0. Okay, item 9, ordinance 2026-02, Citrus Ridge Commercial PUD annexation and rezoning, second reading.
If, as we typically do, items 9, 10, and 11 are all tied together, I'll go ahead and read those, and we can discuss them as one and
Perfect.
vote separately. Ordinance 2026-02 on second reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, amending the boundaries of the City of Minneola in accordance with the procedure set forth in Section 171.044 Florida statutes to include within the city limits approximately 15.878 acres of property generally located on the west side of North Hancock Road and north and south of Citrus Grove Road in Lake County, Florida, rezoning the property from county agricultural to planned unit development within the City of Minneola, providing for conditions and contingencies, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Ordinance 2026-03 on second reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, providing for a comprehensive plan map amendment, amending the land use designation from county urban low residential to general commercial on the city's future land use map for 15.878 acres of property generally located west of North Hancock Road and north and south of Citrus Grove Road, providing for a comprehensive plan map amendment from City of Minneola mixed-use residential overlook at Grassy Lake to general commercial on the city's land use map for 2.01751 acres of property generally located west of North Hancock Road and north of Citrus Grove Road, providing for conditions and contingencies, directing the city clerk to transmit the amendment to the appropriate governmental agencies pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. And Resolution 2026-01, this is the second public hearing on this development agreement. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, approving the Citrus Ridge Commercial Planned Unit Development Agreement, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Perfect, thank you, Scott.
Quasi matter. If there's anybody that may wish to speak on this tonight, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give this evening is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say, I do. I do. Thank you all.
Good evening.
Hi, good afternoon. Gabriela Castro, planning consultant for the city with Inspire 4767 New Broad Street. Since this is second reading, I'll speed through the presentation and then focus on the changes that you guys requested. So it is in conjunction with item 8 of the sale of the future property. If this decides to work.
Can you speak a tad louder, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, I think okay. So it's located between Grassy Lake, Citrus Grove, and Camp Hill Development, Camp Lake Hills of Minneola Development, and it's roughly 17.74 acres. Its current land use is, there's a portion that's being annexed, so it's Lake County Urban Low, and there's a portion that's in Overlook. Its current zoning designation, it's, the portion that's in Lake County is ag, and the portion that's in the city is a PUD. So the request is to annex approximately 15.72 acres from Lake County to the city of Minneola, along with a comp plan amendment, a rezoning, and the development agreement. The development agreement is asking for up to 850 square feet of commercial and parcel C to remain in open area, stormwater pond, and not to be developed. So item 4 are the 2 parcels on the east, and they're proposed to be annexed. They're contiguous to the city, and there was no issues with this annexation request. The comp plan amendment is from Lake County Urban Low to city commercial, and from mixed-use residential development to city commercial. Development agreement outlines the policies applicable to the development of the site and will include the master development plan and the conceptual site plan as exhibits. Will increase the development potential, and as currently constructed is proposed to be around roughly 7 to 8 commercial tenants. So this has slightly been modified. We've been going back and forth with the applicant. So there's not really any outstanding items. It's mostly just requests in the development agreement to make sure that, everything aligns with city code or is explicitly detailed in the development agreement. But the traffic study has been approved by our traffic consultant and is just pending any Lake County comments. And then most of the other notes were just informational, like the property sale needed to occur and stuff like that. That's the same for the developer agreement. Most things are just provided in here. Haven't changed from the first to second reading. I'll highlight the changes that have occurred in the next couple slides. One change that we did want to bring up was the deviations from the signage requirements that the applicant will provide further clarification. So P&Z recommended approval and subject to their comments. And at City Council's first reading, there was a request that the signage not be lit, so the applicant has provided hours of restriction for that. The height of the mini storage was requested to make sure that it's not exceeding 3 feet, or 3 stories, so language has been provided to state that. There was a request that the blowers face away from the residential area. That has been revised to be included in the developer agreement language, and that there be free air, no ice machines, and no window signs at the convenience store, and that has also been included in the language. The gas station design standards have been incorporated to reflect the approved gas station on Vino and US 27. Yeah. So that's all the stuff I have, unless you guys have any questions at this time.
Yeah, just one question on the gas station, and Tara, feel free to answer this, just to confirm, there's not going to be any selling of items outside of 7-Eleven, right?
Correct. It's just going to be the
tchotchkes.
propane tanks,
Just
which
propane
are,
tanks. Okay. Is that accurate, Tara? That's weird? Okay, cool. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
And I see the free air part, but no vacuum either.
no.
So usually they do air and vacuum.
Okay.
And they charge for it, but no vacuum. So I think that's in the agreement, but I just want to clarify on the record.
Okay. We'll make sure that, I'll double check.
Yeah, Amazon, like Amazon now are putting boxes outside of convenience stores, all that. The only thing they can actually really have is the propane tanks, because we don't regulate them.
Okay. I believe there's language to that, but I'll double check.
Thank you.
And for sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, anyone else on council have any other questions or concerns?
Yes, for the gas station, Tara, I think this is maybe a question for you. I think it was discussed to not have, the neon signs and or anything like that facing the residents. Is that wasn't specifically called out, but just want to make sure that was also part of it.
Tara Tedrow, Lowndes Law, 215 North Yola Drive, Orlando, Florida, on behalf of the applicant. There are no vacuums, so that's already explicitly in here. Literally says no vacuums, was the language that staff had added in since the last hearing. And then there are 4 full pages of regulations, 3.5, I think, are just on the gas station. So all of those standards as it relates to signage, branding, what you can have on the canopy, no ads in the windows, nothing outside except what statutorily is permitted for propane, all of that is added into this DA. So there were some extensive revisions that had been made since the last time. What's in your packet reflects everything that had been asked for, both by us and by staff, and then agreed upon by staff. There's only one thing that didn't make it into the packet tonight, and that was just a clarifying definition for open space. It's a PD, so we wanted to make sure the master plan that was shown at P&Z, shown at the first reading, we offered, based on a request from P&Z, to make an over 3.5 acre tract on the other side of Citrus into a permanent preservation area. So we agreed not to build anything there. I mean, if you go to Grassy Lake Road, you'll have an Ace Hardware 30 feet from some homes, right? And we agreed to put nothing on that site across the street to keep it undeveloped. There was a question as to whether that was going to be open space. We always had it noted as open space on our master plan from day one, but we put the language into the PUD ordinance as well so that the two matched up. That was sent to staff, so Jennifer had seen it earlier this afternoon, but I don't think it got uploaded. So that would be the one thing I would ask, if there's a recommendation for approval, that it be subject to that clarifying open space language. But other than that, as it relates to signage, which Gabby brought up, the signage for a gas station has its own specs in the PD development agreement. But then we put in some standards for signage for anything that didn't fall under these limitations for a fuel station. And I actually took those from the sign regulation table, Exhibit A of section, I think, 118-9 in code. So I just copied those, because if we plat the property off into single parcels, your code has things for platted versus unplatted, so if it's a shopping center versus platted tracks. So I just copied those verbatim into the PD development agreement. So that's where that language came from.
So one quick thing on that. So
Sure.
the city, and everybody knows that, I can see the Papa John sign lit up at 3 a.m. Does the city code have that updated where it will be turned off after a certain time?
I don't know if the city code does, but our DA has
Yours
all
has
those
it for
limitations.
all properties that are
Yeah,
there.
it shows that all of them have, some even have restricted hours of operation on use, but we have the no overnight lit lights
Perfect.
because of the residential
Residentials.
across Citrus Grove for that
Awesome.
reason. You
Perfect.
asked for that last time, so.
Thank
For,
you.
for every parcel, just to
Yep.
confirm. Awesome, thank you.
So I have a question.
Sure. Sure.
The requirements for the convenience store, we actually put in the requirements, I believe they got all the requirements that the 561A required, not the VNO necessarily, but the 561A.
That's what I figured,
Right,
yeah.
yes, and also the car wash pretty much has most of the same requirements that we made across the street.
Provision.
Staff
Perfect.
tried to make sure that we're following a consistent
Absolutely.
requirement.
Appreciate that.
For the different businesses.
Excellent. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
I guess, Eric, for clarification, I mean, whoever the vendor they get in there for the service station, obviously, going to have some kind of signage. You don't have any problem with that?
No, it's
No.
any signage.
Go ahead.
Any signage should not be lit after a certain time.
Right.
And that's what I think what we agreed to, correct?
Yeah, so I think, so on the gas station, you're saying like if the gas station is, I think that's the only one that has hours that might be past 9 PM.
Well, yeah,
So
I
it
mean-
needs to, the building's
course.
going to be
I
lights
mean,
on
it-
in the
you-
building and,
You
yeah.
need to find a vendor, but the end of the day is, they can be open and to turn their lights off, so I
Right.
mean,
Right, so we have some dark sky lighting, no backlighting and
Mm-hmm.
things like that for some sign controls in the DA.
so two things. I know they have beef jerky, so we don't need them to scream it out. I realize that. And the other thing is, and again, I have no problem with the facility for serving guests. Obviously, Eric, Vice Mayor, is very light-friendly, and so I want to make sure to respect that. But obviously, you have to find somebody to occupy that and build there, so I want to restrict that. And I think the county changed the name of Turkey Farm Road, am I correct?
Camp Commerce Drive.
Okay,
Camp
but
Lake
that,
Commerce.
so that Turkey Farm Road will not be?
Yeah,
in
that
the
formerly known as.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to restrict you, and I know when we did racetrack years ago, I mean, we did all those things, and they're still living, and people still go there and still know it's there, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
No, absolutely.
Thank you. Any further comments? Debbie?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Welcome. You're good? Joe?
Yep.
Comments?
Nope.
No, you're good? Anyone else in the audience? Okay, I'll bring it back to council. And we're going to do you want to do
Individual?
these?
Yes, please. Starting with item 9.
Item 9, can I get a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02?
I'll make a motion.
I have a first, can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All oppose? Motion carried, 5-0. Item 10, ordinance 2026-03. Can I get a
I'll
motion?
make the motion.
I have a motion. I have a
second
first and I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried, 5-0. Item 11, resolution 2026-01.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, a first. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you,
Thank
guys. Have a great evening.
Welcome to Minneola.
Yes.
Again.
Again.
Again. And
see you-
Tara,
we'll see you
Tara,
in a
we'll
couple
get,
weeks.
we'll get with you tomorrow to make sure all the changes made it into the agreement and everybody's good with it, so, okay.
You know that we have, if you get 5 approvals, you get the 6th one free, so. You guys are coming up close.
I'll make a motion on that.
Oh, no, no, no. Okay, moving along, guys. Item 12, ordinance 2026-12.
Ordinance 2026-12 on first reading, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of
Thank
Minneola,
you.
Florida, proposing an amendment to Section 4.2 of the city charter relating to city council term limits, providing requisite ballot language for submittal to electors, providing for inclusion in the charter, providing for severability, providing for a conflict, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading, so no vote, and there probably will be some tweaks before second reading. It just very simply changes the current term limit from 8 years and 60 days to, it changes it to 10 years and 60 days. Honestly, if we went to 10 years, we could just make it 10 years if you want. Yeah, just 10 years rather than 10 years, and the 60 days aren't really. And the intent behind that, which will, before second reading, be added to the ordinance, was primarily so that vacancies don't count towards term limits, among other things. And so, because right now, like, if someone fills a vacancy, that counts towards their term limits and can essentially preclude a second term, so.
So Scott, I have a question about that, since it's first reading. I thought that we pretty much made it clear to all of the people that wanted to be appointed to the seat that was vacant, that we made it clear to them that if you serve, you're gonna finish out a term. So you're saying that now you want to extend it to the 8 years?
No, it's extending to 10, so.
Extend it to
Yeah,
10?
Yeah, so
10,
it's,
yeah.
it's matching like the presidency. So if you look at, I forgot which president, I think it was after Kennedy, where they came in, but he came in halfway through a term, so then Congress extended it to 10 years so that you could have 2 full terms plus whatever, the middle of your term, so a total of 10. That's why they never did 8, they did 10. And similar to what we're doing now. So let's say someone else resigns, the person comes in and they're only here for 2 years, they still have the ability to serve 2 full terms plus the 2 transition that, if you will, that are coming in.
Okay, so I guess my question is like, there was an applicant or a person that wanted to take this place, but they said no, because I want to serve 2 full terms, right? So that discouraged them from coming forward and being an applicant to fill the vacant seat. So now we want to say to that, what do we say to those people now, that we're going to change it again?
Well, we don't have to change it, it has to go to a vote. Like,
So you want to put it on the ballot?
Yes. it
Yeah,
has- it
yes,
has
I'm
to,
sorry,
yeah.
Yeah, we're just not changing.
I just wanted to be clear and
Yes,
transparent.
this is just putting it on the ballot for November, so might as well, Mr. Yeager filling the vacancy. If this doesn't pass, and if he were to run for office, he would be limited to 1 term. If this does pass, then he could possibly have 2
It's limited to
terms,
2.
yeah.
You could do 2 terms,
Yeah.
plus what? 6
But
months.
whoever filled the vacancy took the risk,
the
obviously,
6
that it
months,
wouldn't
right.
pass, yeah, and they'd be restricted
Or 5
if they wish to run for a
Yeah,
term.
I mean, a similar situation to what actually you and I are in, right? Because we passed the 8-year term limit, but our terms end in 28. So technically, even though we have 2 years left to the 8 years, we can't because it extends over. So that's why the 10 years makes sense, just it covers multiple use cases.
Because we got short.
We got you.
It's shorted too, yeah.
But go ahead, I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
So what happens if somebody serves 2 terms and wants to run for 2 more years? What precludes that?
Well, because they're 4-year terms, and you have to be able to complete the entire term when you qualify. So you can't run for just a 2-year
just
term.
run for 2 years. Where does it say that?
I think the language in the charter says that you have to be able to, I don't have it exactly
I
in front of me.
remember reading that. You can't run unless
You can't serve a partial term or run for
So
a
in
You're
other
partial.
committing
words,
yourself
if
for
you
the 4
run for
years.
office
You're
and you
committing for 4
die
years,
after
yep.
2 years,
Yeah.
you've committed a felony?
You can avoid it by dying, yes. No. And certainly someone can be removed, but to qualify for the office, you can't be termed, you have to be able to qualify for the entire length of that term
but you
without
can't
being term
guarantee that,
limited.
can you?
No, you can't, no.
All right, I'll take your word for it, but I don't remember seeing that in the
So,
charter.
Mayor, I have a question.
Sure.
So, in respect to Debbie's question, is when we do put it on the ballot, can we not take some of that lawyer ease out of it, so when people get to like, they have no clue what's going on? So
Right.
can we make it very simplified, that actually people can understand it and not come out of the booth and go, I have no idea what I did, but I said no?
The only thing that you'll see on the ballot is that little question that's in the ordinance here. So the little 70-word, 75-word question. So that, and it currently doesn't say anything about vacancies or why we're doing it. So that may be added between now and then to explain to somebody in the ballot, why is it getting changed from 8 years to 10 years? So,
Well, then would you
yeah.
also
But remem-
explain on the ballot that the charter says such and such?
we're not going to get into your point about serving the terms. We can work on it. I understand your question.
What I, there's many times that people go in, and it's so jumbled.
I understand.
So it's basically there to confuse them, and so it should be very simplified. Take your lawyerese and put it back in a book and make it simplified, but obviously legal, to people understand what actually is happening there.
It's actually very simple, at least right now, but I think people are left with why are they doing this, if you read that question. It just says something about we're changing it from 8 years and 8 years and 60 days to 10 years and 60
They
days.
may just say, no, I'm not going to give them 2 more years.
Right,
Correct. So that's why it needs to be clarified,
right.
if you can make that happen.
That was the thought, and we have a few more words to use, so. And Mr. Saunders, I'll get with you about the language specifically about that you have to be able to, you have to be able to, you can't be termed out for the entire term you're qualifying for.
If he dies and they bring him back, so that could be an issue, you know?
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
Okay. Well, this is just first reading
Yes,
tonight.
first
and
reading.
If there's any comments,
Yes.
and otherwise,
Thank you.
we'll make those tweaks and bring it back for second.
Anyone in the audience? Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Moving right along. Thank you, guys. But I will come back to the audience for final public comments.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jennifer Morse, 1064 Golden Dawn Loop. I have a few things. So the warehouses on the corner of Hancock and Citrus Grove, based on the PUD that, with the landscaping, it shows that basically on the corner, there's going to be 8 feet, 88 Dahoon holly trees that are about this tall, and a few elm and a few live oak. I sent some pictures. I can send, I don't have everyone's info, but I can send more pictures. So the year 3 of what that is going to look like is a little bit concerning to me. So I would love if we could ask the developers to look at their plans and focus on that corner to make it look less visible. The warehouses look less visible by putting in a 4 to 5 foot berm, creating, planting more plants or more canopy trees that are actually more matured at 10 to 12 feet tall. And anything that we can do if the city has to contribute in some sort of manner, I think that would make the residents pleased that we are taking that into consideration, because it is an eyesore and I hear it every day. So if you have any more questions on that, but I am not a landscaper, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what exactly is good or not. All I can tell you is that their plan is not going to be okay when it's all cleaned up and they leave and we have little shrubs there.
Sorry, so
Yeah.
just on that, Jennifer, so Mark, I believe, because I'm working with the county on something similar, I think the county has the ability, I don't know if it's through grants on their own, where they can plant trees to kind of beautify, similar to what Jennifer just mentioned. Can we reach out to them and ask if that's something that they were willing to partnership with us with in order to get those mature trees? My understanding is that a lot of the nurseries that have those older trees that don't pass inspection, if you will, maybe they're a little crooked or whatever, they donate those, to the county. So unless, Jennifer, you care about crooked trees.
I don't care.
Okay, so I think we're good then so yeah, we can work with the county on that to see if we could partner with them on.
We probably have some spoils from the Education Road project. We can give them some dirt, I imagine, and save us money if we can give it to them, actually. So.
They have, what I don't understand is there's a huge berm masking from the turnpike, but why didn't we require a berm for masking the residents' views? Because we're not, rubbernecking a warehouse on a turnpike, but we certainly are right there on the corner, the residents are. So I don't know what that would look like, but that would be a great conversation to have, and it would be great for me to be able to tell the people that I speak with that that conversation's happening. Cool. And then where is anyone working on Safe Night Out, and where is that? Because I am
Oh, what?
gravely
Safe Night Out.
Oh, safe.
afraid of Ardmore and the Reserve of Minneola if we don't have, the thousands of people that usually go to Safe Night Out, they're gonna be coming to our neighborhood.
Yeah, so Trailhead Park will be under construction during that time, so
Right.
we've already worked with the county to have it at the MAC this year, and our recreation coordinator, Grant, will be working on that.
Okay, so there is a plan, it's in works and all that stuff. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
great, awesome. This is just a question I had, because I was at, down there, and I was on the Claremont Trail, and I saw that Claremont owned their own waste management trucks. I don't know if anyone knows anything about that, but it does say Claremont, and I was wondering if we've looked into either partnering with Claremont and/or looking into bringing waste management in-house, considering we're growing.
So we did consider that seriously a couple of years ago for different reasons. The current agreement that we're trying to hammer out, the fine details, one of those is it'll be a 7-year agreement, and in the third year, we have the option of letting them continue, or they'll continue with us phasing in our own services over 3 years.
With
It's-
Claremont, you mean?
No, with
No,
us doing it
for
ourselves.
current.
Oh, with doing it
The
yourself.
challenge with going in with other cities is one of the big advantages. Number one, we have normally historically, Minneola's tried to privatize what we could and use, where there's private sector doing things and not do it in-house to reduce costs for taxpayers and whatnot. But one of the advantages of having a provider that we have is for storm debris collection. And, you wonder where we had our stuff up a lot faster, although we're not as big as they are. We have certain goals, in-house goals we try to meet on our own. And the current hauler has to, they have to handle our storm debris first. And if we're partnering with other cities, where's that loyalty going to be when those times of emergencies arise? So that's one of the disadvantages, I think, a big one of having worked with another city on that.
And then in-house doesn't make sense financially?
It could, but, it's a real struggle trying to find drivers with CDLs, and, that's almost, they're constantly in recruit mode, trying to get that thing going. The equipment, then you gotta have diesel mechanics. It's a major overhaul major undertaking to get that going. So I think with this agreement, if we have the option to start phasing it in over 3 years, if at that point the city wants to do that, we can kind of do it in bites and bits, and it'll be easier to do. It will not go flawlessly, but it'll be it'll be a little bit more smooth if we can do it over a period of time.
Okay. Are you guys okay if I proceed? So I have three more things. So our residents, I don't quote me on statistics, but 80% of us are new to Minneola, maybe. We have kids that are growing up here. They're more than likely going to stay here the rest of their lives. They're going to bury us. Where are we going to put our dead? What cemetery are we? Yeah, I know, Joe. So
Not that you're going to die.
our
but that-
deceased, I guess I should say.
You're the
more.
cemetery. That's not
But, I don't think that cemetery is sustainable for the growth that we are going to have. And it would be great if we could start considering a place that actually
Projects.
Yeah.
we could,
The thing about cemeteries is that a lot of people are not being buried in the ground anymore. The trend is, at this point, is already over 50% go for cremation and a columbarium. A columbarium can house, I think it's 24 niches in one gravesite, 12 on each side.
you talking like the New Orleans stuff? Like the above ground?
Yes, they
Okay.
would, yeah, you don't put in, typically, you don't put a niche underground.
Yeah.
It's a mausoleum is what they.
It's possible to do that, some people will have a gravesite and bury the urns from a cremation in the ground. Some people do that, but it's kind of expensive compared to a niche in a columbarium, which is kind of economical. A lot of people in the last 10 years have been going in that direction, and it kind of increases all the time. That takes a different approach to how you run a cemetery, and it would more than quadruple the cemetery we have. With that said, if you estimate the number of people that are going to die, I went through this 10 years ago, and I gave all those numbers. But here we are 10 years later, and nothing really in the city has changed. The people who come here, generally speaking, are young people, like Eric. And
You guys got all.
and
Where's your
people
cane,
that
Joe?
have been here tend to be a little on the older side. But now that we have Del Webb, they're coming here in their senior years. And Del Webb might change the paradigm for how we run the cemetery in the city. But I'll give you an example. The African Mission down on 561A, they have their own columbarium. So essentially, they have their own, not in the ground, but their own cemetery. That's a possibility that, theoretically, Del Webb could come to us and say, we're putting aside a lot, can we actually put in a columbarium site? And that, that would take care of an awful lot of people. On one house lot, you could take care of, I don't know, I'm guessing probably 500 burials. So we could go in a lot of different directions, but it takes a department to run a cemetery. I know Christine is really good at what she does and works very hard, but to make a cemetery operate takes a lot of effort, and the city has not put that effort into it at this point.
what capacity is that cemetery at?
So what we have is we have contracted with a planning firm to do a site plan, which they have done. Scott's office has done title work on Pearl Street, used to go all the way down to the lake. And so there were some concerns on where the boundary was on that, and, how that right-of-way was abandoned by the county, the city. So there were some things to work out there. We've recently gotten quotes for columbariums. The first quote we got was pretty high, and we'd have to charge quite a bit for each niche to go in there. So we contacted our cemetery consultant, who is retired from the private sector but works with the State Cemetery Association, and he's working with us on trying to find some other people to try to get better quotes on the columbariums. But ultimately, if it was up to me, we would build out that one. And a lot of cities are trying to get away from cemeteries and leaving them to the private sector.
Advertise it, yeah.
It's really not, when you look at maintaining that property for 100 years, it's really never going to be self-sufficient. And so a lot of cities are getting away from having cemeteries and letting the private sector or the funeral homes handle it. But we are working on the current one we have to add columbariums as we speak.
Mayor, can I jump in here?
The problem with private sector cemeteries, though, the cemetery takes a big leap into regulations that the cities don't have to follow.
Correct.
True.
And can I jump in here? And so we've been kicking this ball for a long time. I was involved in putting a fence around the cemetery we had. I was involved with Mary Jane to find out where everything was. We still have a fence that the mobile home is on our property. And so we're kicking and we're still going nowhere. And private cemeteries, as Joe just said, have stiffer regulations, and most of them go by the wayside, or when they're done, there's big, gigantic cemeteries that don't have that issue, but a lot of the smaller ones go. So we really do need a city cemetery, and we don't need to kick it any farther, and it should have a workshop, and we've already done the groundwork. So, I understand if you don't want it, but we should say, you can come to live here, but damn, don't die. Because we got no way to go with you. But again, no grave sites,
Or get
just like
cremated.
Joe said.
Most of the people who die in Minneola get buried or put into a niche at Oak Hill in Claremont.
Correct.
There is an issue that Claremont charges Minneola people more money for that
They do.
burial than they do their own citizens who live in Claremont.
So we definitely need to stop kicking that ball. We need to jump on it. It's just as important as the recreation site between the hills.
Yep, so we do have a site plan. We did have a company go out and GPR the whole site, because you know the issues with the older burials. And so we have that data now. And then, like I said, right now we are still getting quotes for the columbariums as we speak.
So we're in the negotiation or finalizing the 16 acres that was purchased. We have that. We definitely need to do something with the Wart property, because the city needs that in a long-term deal. And there's probably, if you want to be creative, you could probably have ribs and place for ashes to put the site. So that would be 24, 16. So you have about almost 40 acres there. Again, we need it for wastewater yesterday, and we need a cemetery yesterday. And so we need to stop kicking the ball down the road. Thank you.
Yeah, my concern is, we're 2030, 2035, we're looking at 60,000 people, residents. If 50% of them, most of those people are going to be kids or like me, that if I stay here forever, 50% of that, you're looking at 30,000 people that need to be buried and want to be buried where they grew up. So, and not in a little square cemetery nestled by someone's house.
Is it possible to add that to our project updates? Is that something that we could start looking into?
Absolutely.
Because if it's council's consensus to move forward with that and open it back up, I know Joe did a lot of work with it. Sorry. Joe did a lot of work with that. And Jennifer's made some really good points there.
Thanks,
So-
Pam.
The other thing is Joe has a point as far as Del Webb, but the gas station didn't go so well. I'm not sure how a cemetery would go real well either. We just finally got our clubhouse, so I'm not sure if that would be a added attraction.
Well, you have to consider the fact that we have an existing cemetery that's been there since before the city was incorporated. We have several ledges that record who's buried there. Some of the ledges are not accurate. Some of the grave sites have people in them with no record. A lot of the gravestones have deteriorated to the point where they need to be repaired or replaced. And who's going to pay for all that? The big issue is when you take control of a cemetery and you want to run it well, the first thing you want to do is consider software in a computer to run all the records. So there's a big transition from taking ledges in the records that we have and verifying them all and putting them into a software. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a lot of work.
Are there,
So,
I'm-
the
I-
reason I backed off from pushing for the cemetery was the amount of work it's gonna take to bring that cemetery up to a reasonable standard, and at the same time, look for where do we go when that cemetery gets full? Now, you need another cemetery, and probably of a different type of cemetery.
But it's our responsibility as a city to respect the people who are there, that were here way before us, and to respect what's going on down there. That I had a fight with the fence. I mean, I battled and battled, and we finally got the fence because people were going in and out, and we found, bones in the soil that we had to do a grave site, and
And the fence was right over somebody's grave, and the fence was
Correct.
on someone else's property.
yes.
So actually, I think there's really two issues here. We need to not forget about our current cemetery, and we also need to look into a new area, a new cemetery, or a new piece of property, land, whatever the case may be, so that we can then move forward if we fall into a situation, as Joe was mentioning, that it's a lot of work, and I don't even know what we would need to do just with our current cemetery that we have.
Well, you were here when I did the presentation.
Oh, I know.
I didn't give you paper, I gave you a disc, because the paper would have been well over 100 pages. So I put it on disc for everybody. I got no feedback from that. I know it was a little bit boring to listen to me for an hour explain cemeteries, but we could go back and look at it again and bootstrap from that, because Mark has been doing things. He hasn't been doing nothing. He's kind of patched it in ways that cleaned it up. He had people go in and clean it up.
Okay.
He had problems with some of the landscaping there. One of the biggest problems, and that was never resolved, the neighbors to the north side have squatted on the land that belongs to the city. Believe it or not, there's that cemetery could be increased by 30%, but people have put structures on city property. That's a legal battle we never tackled. We just said, okay, let's not do anything about the fact that they've built structures on our right-of-way. I don't know how they got permits to do that. I don't know what gave them the permission to do that, but it was illegal to build structures on cities, Minneola's property. But the thing is, those people to the north that did that are in the county. So they got if they got permits, they got permits from the county. And if they have permits, that's a problem. The county gave them a permit, to put the structure on city property. That, I don't know how to resolve that, and we didn't carry that discussion to an end. So, with all that said, Mark has been trying to maintain it, but maintaining it doesn't solve the problem. Cemeteries run like a business. As a business, you sell things, you don't give people a deed to the property. The city maintains the ownership of the property, but in the past, people thought they owned the property. So how, I don't know legally how you take that property back from people if in fact you have to clear an area that people own, they think they own it, but they really don't. So it's kind of a, when you've been doing something for over 100 years and you've been doing it marginally, I won't say poorly, but marginally, people who work for the city tried to keep up with it, and they couldn't keep up with it. To go in and straighten it out now is going to take a major effort. Do we want to do it, or do we want to move on to another cemetery someplace else? Pat Kelly, the former mayor, proposed at one time that he would like to look at a cemetery up in the hills. That's all well and good, but, you know, does somebody give us land? Do we buy the land? Where would it be? Do we use the land we already have? We got 60 acres up in the hills. We could use the land we have. We'd have to build a road. Well, that would be very expensive, several $1 million to build a road up to the top of the site in back of the K-8 school, the Horizon, is that the name of it? Horizon School? New Horizon? And as it stands right now, I was just up there yesterday, as a matter of fact, the day before yesterday, and the school has put a gate on the road that would belong to us. We'd have to tussle with the school a little bit to get that gate off of our access to the property, which would probably take a little head bashing. But I don't know the feasibility of putting a cemetery at the top of the hill. They did it back in Kansas. They called it Boot Hill. It would be a really nice site up at the top overlooking Lake Apopka. And I won't go on much beyond that, but it would be very expensive to create a cemetery, which is why the city manager, Mr. Johnson, is saying it would be better if it was private, because a lot of things come into play when you start dealing with a new cemetery. Nice to have one, but
Sounds like a workshop. Great.
I would love to see someone, the lady that lives next to the current cemetery has been fantastic. When that fence was put over on her property, she deeded a section of her property to the city to fix it, so we didn't have to move the fence. Fantastic person, but we don't have a funeral home in the city. We have a lot of gaps. We have a lot of out leakage on certain things, and I would love to see someone go in and make her an offer she can't refuse and turn that into a funeral home, and then we could deed the cemetery over to them. They could sell what's remaining in there. We wouldn't have to worry about
then
maintaining.
all we need is a crematorium close by.
Yeah.
Crematorium and a funeral home, and,
We have a crematory, I think, off Division Street.
sorry?
Don't they do, there's a cremation place right off Division Street?
They don't
I don't think
cremate
they
there.
cremate there, I think they just sell the
No,
urns there.
that's just the sales office.
Oh, it's just a sales office?
They
Okay.
prepare, but they don't cremate.
That's owned by the funeral parlor down by, in the center of
Oh, okay.
Claremont. I forget their name.
The other issue on the Plum Lake side, our city clerk annexed that one house, but all those houses are obviously on our property too, but one is city a resident and the rest of them are all county.
Yeah.
Because our city clerk 50 years ago wanted to be in the city and she annexed into the city.
Yeah, well,
But that's a bunch of property that would help greatly too. But we need not stop kicking it because it's as important as everything else that's never been caught up or done. And when you do a private cemetery, it has to be 20 acres or more.
Yeah.
City can be less, but we don't even have a Band-Aid for what we have now, so.
So,
Well, again, you can't say that nothing has been done, because we did look into it. We did take some actions. Back when you were mayor, you took actions with the fence, the gate, and a few other things. But when you look at the cemetery as a whole, and again, I wouldn't have a problem sitting down and doing a workshop again and bringing us back, starting back from where we were and bringing us up to date. But I'm not sure anybody's got the wherewithal to want to do all of this. It's my opinion. That's why we didn't move it very far.
so might I suggest that we look at to hire a cemetery consultant that handles?
Done that.
Oh, well, then, if we're gonna do the workshop, I think another one would be perfect, that they can do their due diligence, come with information, we sit down and workshop it with someone that has the knowledge and is a SME for municipalities.
Mark, did we get a comprehensive report from Mr. Tusk? Tusk, his name was?
Us,
Did we get a comprehensive report from him explaining?
We got some information from him. He was really trying to help us figure out how to monetize and maximize what we could out of
Yeah, I
what we
understand
have.
that. He was explaining to us how to sell the product, or what we had to charge. That was his perspective. He wasn't really selling us on how to operate it.
Yeah, we
think
operating
that's
and
what we need to
planning
know, how to
consultant,
operate it.
yeah. And they exist out there, apparently.
And
Yeah,
my
'cause-
suggestion to Mark several years ago was, I would hire a professional working for the city, and I'd give him a one-year contract with performance, and he would set it up so that once it was all in place, he could go away and the city could run it like most cities run it. As an example, Claremont runs it with the groundskeepers and the city clerk. The city clerk knows all about the cemetery, the cost, the fees, and the rules. And the groundskeepers, I don't know who's there now, but 10 years ago, the groundskeepers were very in tune to how to maintain the landscape and everything in it. So it ran without a lot of financial overhead, people-wise, but Claremont, there's a lot of overhead with vaults. They have vaults and the other thing, I can't remember the name of it.
And
Sorry.
they had to change their whole-
Mausoleums.
They had to change. They had to change because, the trend changed, so they had to adapt.
Yeah, well, they went to columbariums. They put in a whole area with columbariums. Former city councilman
Regular game.
Ray Goodgame is on the corner of one of the first columbariums they put up. He had it reserved, and he's there. So people started to go to the cremation and columbariums several years ago. And if the trend is still in the same direction, and I think it is, because people get very unhappy when you tell them it's $20,000 to bury somebody you love, and it's $800 to cremate them, and maybe a little bit more to put them in a niche. But ultimately, cost is a big factor that didn't used to be there many years ago. And to compare it cost-wise, back before 1926, they used to have burials in the moonlight, And when I said that there were people buried there that we're not sure of or we don't know about, that's went on before the city was incorporated.
Really?
People would go there and bury somebody, and there was no record of it.
Wow. Interesting.
It is very interesting.
I have two more things.
And as closer you get to looking at that hole in the ground, let me tell you, the more you think about who cares anymore.
I
You
know.
I look at it from the standpoint, I'll give
Yeah.
you an example.
A lot of it is religious based though, too, like people.
You mentioned the children and longevity and all that. I would not go to a grave in Minneola because I have no relatives that live anywhere near here, and it would be a waste of putting up a headstone and digging a hole. So that's the way I look at it. However, I did, in the discussion, I did make a proposal that we have an area within the cemetery where people could cast ashes, and we would, I think Christina and I talked about this, putting up a stone, a monument, I don't know what to call it, where we would charge for the engraving of that person's name that was cast, who was cast there. So there'd be some record that that person lived here and died here.
That's a great
That's-
idea.
There's all kinds of little offshoots that you can pursue. And Mark and I did a lot of looking at all kinds of other things, and I don't want to talk about those, but there's things that people do, they put the person in a bag, they put a tree above them, they bury them, and that person becomes part of an oak. That's, and Europe it's very different in Europe. And again, the ultimate goal should be that you don't own that cemetery and you're there kind of like a lease for 100 years, and after that, we got to clear it out because nobody cares about where the Romans are buried anymore, or where the whatever. I mean, it does have its lifespan.
Yep. Thank you for that discussion.
I gave you more than you wanted, but I know.
I'm gonna go research cemeteries right when I get home. I promise you that. So I look forward to a workshop or something on that because it sounds like we're all in need of that. Two more things. Pardon my ignorance, where does the reclaimed water come in with the waste management project? Because there's a lot of people that think we have reclaimed water. Is that a separate project that we need to add to the list when we can turn that on?
So reclaim, Fred's already gone, Dan's here, he can speak to that, but we've done parts of it. We've drilled the well for the auxiliary water for when we don't have enough reclaim to sell, and we're not gonna have enough to supply everybody with reclaim that's gonna be attached to the system. But the wastewater plant, a long time ago, it got put, the drinking water for the plant itself was put on a reclaim line. And so we have to run, before we can use that reclaim line, we have to run a new water line to the plant. And we're in design now, and we're actually working with the Scormans, because the route they originally wanted to run, we found a way that was a shorter route, and it would save costs. But it's going to go under the turnpike and then across over to Hancock Road. It's a pretty substantial project. So we got to get that water line run before we can disconnect the wastewater plant from that reclaim line that's charged with potable water, and then connect it to a drinking water line. And then we also are working on the piping and all, and the wastewater plant expansion may impact where the reclaim pumps and things go. But Dan's here if you want to get into more detail about it.
It
But
sounds like
it's a
like
much bigger
second
lift than what it
project we
seems.
should probably add, like a sub.
Well, it's tied in to the wastewater. So right now, we're at, what's the capacity we're at now? We're at 60, I think 70%. We have to reach to 80%, correct, before we can actually turn it on?
It's gonna come up.
Sounds like we need a whole pipe.
If you can, thank you.
We're never going to have enough.
We've got to get the piping all connected to the system, and Tetra Tech is working on that design on the piping. The well has already been drilled and is ready to go, but we got to pipe that and tie it into the reclaim system.
Yeah, so the
yeah.
reuse pumps will be demoed, and new pumps will be, skid mount pumps will be installed as part of this effort on the first phase. The tank that's currently there, reuse tank, can be filled with reclaimed water, and we can augment it with the groundwater well. And then once the pipe, as he mentioned, is fixed, we can start sending stuff out. It has nothing to do with what percentage we're at. It's that if the pipe was not there currently, we could utilize maybe rebuild the old pumps currently and try to get some out tomorrow if we had that pipe was constructed. But we have the pipe first, then the pumping station, and then the augment well will need pumps as well. So those are a few of the factors that need to line up before we can send reclaimed water out.
Yeah, but if we had enough usage, though, to get reclaimed, we wouldn't need to pump from the augmentation well.
You need 7 houses worth of wastewater coming in to be able to reclaim that water to get 1 house worth of irrigation out.
I see, okay.
So you're never gonna have enough reclaimed water for everybody in any community.
Ever.
Got it. Okay, very good.
You asked
Thank you.
another question about waste management and reclaimed water. I don't understand.
No,
Waste treatment?
Okay.
wondering if that was a separate.
But wastewater is treated to reclaim water, and then reclaimed water is pumped out for irrigation. So hopefully that answered your question? Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jennifer, so it's tied into the wastewater treatment,
Gotcha.
and then we also need to put in that pipe in order to then turn the system on.
But what I'm hearing is we'll never have enough to
Ever,
turn.
ever.
So we'll never be able to use reclaimed water in our sprinklers?
No, we will, but no, what we're referring to is that we're never gonna be 100% fully sustainable on reclaimed. No
Okay.
city can ever be.
Yeah.
No city. So that's why I asked, will there be a point where we don't have to use the augmented well
Gotcha.
to backfill? And the answer is no, because it's 7-1, right?
Okay,
So-
yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wish I had those odds at Vegas, but.
Okay, last thing is, I highly recommend before we venture into these big projects for parks, that we consider hiring a parks director that can lead and give us direction on what these types of huge park projects would look like. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Okay, closing public comments. We'll go to reports. Mark Johnson?
Real quick, it's not a guarantee yet, but we are still in the running for up to $700,000 in federal funds to help with the wastewater treatment plant construction. Not done yet, but the state changed some of the rules on building permits effective July 1st. Permit fees can no longer be based on the job cost, which is the way they've historically done it. It's going to be based on square footage, so the rates are going to change with that. And then certain small projects, less than $75,000, they still have to get a permit, but there's no charge for that permit. They still have to be inspected, but there's no charge for that.
7,500.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Yeah,
75,000.
75,000, you said.
Oh, I'm sorry, 7,500.
And I
I'm
was
sorry.
with you, yes, yes.
Sorry.
I'm on
7,500.
that. You'll see my permit tomorrow.
And then Minneola Market
First, wait till
is
July.
canceled in June to accommodate
I'm sorry,
summer camp.
what did you just say?
Mineola Market for June
Mineola
is
Market,
canceled
okay, got it.
to accommodate summer camp.
Thank you.
That's it.
Anything for the city manager?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so Mark, I think we are slowly getting into our favorite time of the year, budget season. So as we've continued, the trend of lowering the millage rate, I think it'd be good if we, and I say this haphazardly, right? We want to continue to give the residents all the requirements that they need from a city, but I also want to see, and I believe we can, how else we can lower that millage rate. I know that at one point we were pretty high and we're slowly coming down. So I want to see what else we can do to continue to lower that millage rate without sacrificing any of the current offerings we offer to the city. To Jennifer's point, though, because it's budget season, and because I know you could work your magic, I think it is also time to add a director's position for Parks and Rec,
Director.
given that we have all these things come up. So it's kind of a two-headed dragon there. Hey, cut costs, but also hire people. But I know you can work your magic and make it happen.
Okay. Yeah, in regards to budget, we're working on that now. Very preliminary. It looks like if the first year property tax exemption is approved by the voters statewide, that we'll lose about 1.2 million a year. That's just a very rough estimate right now. I don't, it could change based on what we know today. And, something we're gonna have to start looking at is maybe, the fire assessment fee was created as a tool in the toolbox. That's something we've always historically charged a really low amount compared to the cities around us and the county as well. That's something to start thinking about, having to potentially increase that.
Well, I think let's also think about this, because one of the areas that I don't think we've tapped into is more on the commercial side, right? So let's see what we can do to, I hate to say increase taxes, but see what options we have that they can cover some of the deficit from our residents. That way the residents don't take the blunts of it.
Okay. And then, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, Mark, the other thing I had for you, we discussed this earlier, since Trailhead is, of course, closed until July, I think it would be good if we could open up the gym for certain times throughout the day. That way, our residents do have an open space so they can go to and exercise, and the parents can bring their kids to, since they no longer can take them to the park. I know that the basketball court is reservation-based, but if we could look into potentially having open hours, if you will, during, temporarily, of course, until the park is reopened.
Okay.
After summer camp.
After summer
Yeah, I
camp.
was gonna say summer camp.
Yep. And then if we could also put on social media, I'll be more than happy to share it as well, just a list of all the other smaller parks that we have, just in case, residents don't know we have those smaller parks to offer. I think it'll be good just to put that out there as well. That's it.
Thank you. Joe, anything for city manager?
No.
Okay. Scott, our city attorney?
Yeah, I actually have a few things tonight, but I'll keep them short as possible, given some of you may have seen you've heard the legislature is going to, kind of touching with what we just talked about, is putting on the ballot the property tax question in November to, among other things, raise the homestead exemption. But there are other things in that bill as well. There is a lawsuit that was filed last week by essentially some former municipal officials by a very good attorney that is challenging the ballot question. Frankly, I think it has a lot of legitimacy to that lawsuit. They're basically saying that the ballot question is inflammatory. It's trying to coax people to vote for it rather than just giving them the facts. And so that we'll monitor that as well. But hopefully what that'll just do is change the ballot question and hopefully make it a little, at least for cities' purposes, maybe make it a little less likely that might pass, but depending on which side of the fence you are on that. But we'll be monitoring that. Second, along that line, we just talked about it, the fire assessment. We have to give a preliminary resolution like next week, and they're asking whether there is any inclination to raise the fire assessment this year. Doesn't need to be your final answer, but for several years, there have been no changes to that. I understand that's still where you all sit, at least, I know it's pre-budget, you don't know what you have, but I assume there's no burning desire to change that at this point, but we'll again, not your final answer, but we'll report that at least for now.
Real quick, while he's chiming in, the way that works too is we advertise it at a certain rate. Doesn't mean that that rate has to be approved, but it can't go above that. So if, you know, if you want to have some cushion there and advertise at a little bit higher rate, but we can still go back down to the $59, something to think about while you're.
The third thing is data centers. There was an ordinance that went, and there's been a lot of stuff in the press about data centers, and I don't want to get into a discussion about that tonight. But it went to P&Z. Exactly. It went to P&Z for consideration. Some of you were there at the P&Z meeting, and there's a lot
I
of.
could do it really quick.
Exactly. No, it's all right. What a lot of local governments are doing, and I would actually recommend, is doing a short-term moratorium on data centers while we get all our ducks in a row.
Ducks in a row.
Yeah. The ordinance that came through sparked a lot of questions, concerns, and I think it was a very good effort to address the concern, because it is a big item. But I think we'd probably be good to do the moratorium while we clean that up, and that may actually be something we want to workshop or something at the appropriate time. I know I've got to go to the Municipal Attorneys Conference next month, and it's one of the headlining issues for Florida cities is how to deal with them. So if you're inclined to do that, we just need to bring back an ordinance probably at the next meeting for first reading to just declare a moratorium. They, by law, can't be beyond a certain point of time, but just to give us a little breathing room to figure all that out, so.
We were originally under the belief that we could not do it this way like we do with other emerging trends and land use issues, but we've recently learned that we could.
Yeah. Yeah, that all ties back to that Senate Bill 180, but the short-term moratorium for these purposes, we believe we can do. And you've probably,
What is the short term?
up to a year.
Not over a year?
Correct. That's usually, you'll see them sometimes over a year, but anything over a year is really pushing it. And I don't think we would need more time than that. Frankly, we could probably do it in a lesser time, but we'd probably propose a year, but we may shorten that if you feel the need. So now, you can always, even if you have a moratorium in place, you can always,
Make another moratorium.
well, you can make another moratorium, or you
Or wait
can,
to that
you can
year.
revise that if something comes along. If there's a need to address the issue during that period of time, you can, but it's kind of like a legal timeout.
Scott, did you know there's more than one type of data center?
Yes, yes, I know you're seeing it. We could,
But you more or less have to justify why you
yes,
moratorium in place.
yes.
And that'll give us some time too. We've talked with our St. Johns River Water Management District, and some of the water management districts are not caught up to these issues, and they're not sure yet how they're going to handle them either.
Right.
So it gives us some time to communicate with them and try to figure out how that's going to work regarding that.
The fourth item is just sort of a reminder, your Form 1 filings are due, remember, by July 1st. So if you haven't already done that, I know it's always fun, please do that. And I think that's it, except to congratulate on your baby girl.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
that's a wonderful thing. Baby girl will take your heart, I can tell you that.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
You're done.
Wait till she gets into college.
Don't rush it.
Yeah. Well, Scott, yeah, there are 4 different sets of data centers.
Well,
There's
perfect.
Colo.
Let's moving right along.
Hyper.
Thank you
No?
so much.
Nobody wants to hear?
Nope.
Cemeteries ate up too much time. So yeah.
No, took up my spotlight.
All right, continuing with our reports.
Oh, I can say the reports.
Nope. Mr. Yeager, anything?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wonderful, great. Go ahead, sir.
You want to drink now? Another water? Okay. So, I don't know if you've been through Claremont lately, and we have the same situation on Hancock, right at Education, on the west side by the MAC, is they butchered the trees. And if you go to Claremont, it's really disgusting, where they butchered the trees, and there's like, they look like they're from some kind of,
Horror show.
yeah, like epic
Yeah.
universe. So,
Bonsai.
yeah, I mentioned that a long time ago. Those trees really need to go away, because there's no reason to just keep massacring them and do something. The other tree issue is You have the lot across the street, across from the school and the MAC, that we do need more parking, and we need to harvest those trees. Just like over here, more parking for the City Hall, we need to harvest some trees. And the property that we are purchasing needs to harvest some trees, because now they had a big fire over there and burned them up. And if we're looking forward for hurricane season, it would really be a nice place to put all the debris instead of downtown Minneola next to the garden, so people could garden, but have big trucks and they have to wear masks and all the homes get bombarded. That didn't work out very well. And because in the consent agenda, that we're getting 3 grapple trucks. So it's nice to have the grapple trucks, but where are we going to put it? Well, we're going to put it on the 16 acres now. It would be user-friendly. We'll have to do a little road work. The county obviously maintains the clay road, but it would be nice to have just leave the outside to the turnpike part and clear the center there, so at least we had a place to put debris and no one would even know where the debris went until you decide to bring a shredder in or whatever you do, but that would be an opportunity for that. And again, we're going to have the grapple trucks, but we're going to grapple where and take it where and do what with it. So that would be something. The county needs a morgue. And they need one on the south side because they don't have one on the south side. The other thing is the Wart property is 11 acres. It's next to the acreage we're buying. We need to have a consensus that is contiguous to the city. We need it. It has a well. It borders the turnpike. It's next to what we just got. And we need to have a conversation. She wants $5 million, and that's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day is the city needs the eminent domain or go forward on it, because it is a long vision. And Joe's one that why we just buy land? Well, he hates that. Well, I'm giving you all the reasons. Future for garbage trucks, public works. It's already industrial. It's already zoned. We don't have to go through zoning. There's no residence next to it. The only residence we have is Duke Energy and Seco. The other 2 properties that Seco had were eminent domain from the same property owner. So it all fits. And I'm sure, because Mark's really creative, there are some CRA money or something that could be user-friendly, or because he's got like a grant book back there, and he's like the little magician, and that's fine. And then you could sell the front piece of that is on Sullivan for the morgue. So you could probably do that, cover some costs from the county, because I'm sure they could use a morgue. And I know they can, because, there's no place for it. And we could do a little horse trading, but that could offset the price of the land. At the end of the day, even if it went through eminent domain, since we paid the $3 million for the 16 acres, it's probably worth 2.2, 2.5. But we need to go forward. And for we'll be good for 30 years. And again, has a well point on it. And the well point was active. I'm sure it can be active again. And again, it's got the zoning, it's next to the turnpike, it's next to the Duke. They won't, it's not like we're putting a gas station in front of on a county road. And the only issue is that, to improve that road, but the county improves the road. The other side is Richland to the south side. The north side is Minneola. Then you got Duke, Seco, and I guess they don't have to participate or play with us. But then we have to get to our land of the 16 acres was just purchased. So it would all fit, and that's where you squeeze Richland, because correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, they're aren't going to use that road or participate. They're going to get to their project in a different way. Well, that's bad for us, but again, at the end of the day, the county's going to maintain that road, and I think if you do some horse trade with the county, say, hey, we got this front piece, we find some grants to do something with it, we have a consensus of the council to eminent domain or go forward in some form or fashion, but not like the cemetery deal. I mean, we need to go forward. We need to get going. And, you know, again, in respect to Joe, he doesn't want to buy land just to buy land. He wants to have a reason, and the reason is justified. It is justified. And again, county, you give them work site, you improve the road. It's their road anyway. So guess what? You want to get to your morgue? We want to go to our property. Because the other property, those are the big ugly warehouses, they're going to come down the hill, but they don't want to participate in the connection to Sullivan Road. So something needs to be done there. Scott, dumpsters, you know?
I was waiting for it.
I know you're waiting for it, but an application fee, and I know we can't make money, I get that. But the city, if Tallahassee does what they do, we're going to have some issues, and again, we need to make sure, I know, you know, I know we can't make money, I get that. But I'm sure there's a lot of costs that Mark is finagling that, you know, roads and everything else from all the dumpsters and the trucks and things like that, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to pay for. They're costs. They're dead costs. So however, I know you've been nodding your head for like 3 years I've been at this, but the bottom line is, we're not asked to make money, we're asked to make, and I know you can't do an impact fee because you have to do this and that, but an application fee because he has people he has to pay, and someone needs to take care of that. So I'll throw that out there. I know you probably haven't heard it, so I'll just go with that. Again, we have the trees there. We need to do something with them and try to go forward. Denise's comment this evening, I don't want to comment because she's not in front of me.
Thank you.
But if all I can say to anybody, if they were in my position, it was not very user-friendly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Debbie?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
She wants to go.
Eric?
I'm good, thank you.
Joe?
I haven't heard anything lately about the 74 acres up by the Publix. Minneola is heading to a place I don't quite understand. I took a ride around town the other day. There are so many houses going to be coming our way. I'm estimating 7,000 to 8,000 homes that are pretty near committed. By committed, I mean the developer has developments growing. Maybe they haven't sold the homes yet, but I think by 2030, we're going to be 30,000 residents, thereabouts, or more. If in fact, and I'm assuming that the change to the real estate taxes will be approved by the people who, generally speaking, want to reduce their expenses. And compound that with the fact that traffic is going to be a nightmare. The more people we pile into this city, the more traffic we're going to have. I think we can all agree that one of the reasons people, the 100 or so people, don't want a Walmart here is because, besides the fact that they don't like Walmart, and I respect that, they don't want traffic. One of the reasons was it brings traffic. Well, the reason it brings traffic is that's because that's where people shop. Like it or not, Walmart is the biggest merchandiser in the world. They have more stores than any other company in the world. They have more stores in the United States than any other company. And I think the people in Minneola need a place to shop. 30,000 of them are going to need a place to shop. I talked to Dick German last week, and Dick says he's going nowhere with it. I don't believe that we can run a decent city without places for people to shop. I just don't see it. I've never lived in a place where people don't have a place to shop. I have lived in a city in Massachusetts where they did not want a grocery store. They didn't want a supermarket. So we traveled to the next town to shop at their supermarkets. This bill, this ballot passes the tax thing, and we're gonna lose. Mark is estimating $1.2 million, I believe you said. I don't know how accurate that is. He's probably better at guessing it than I am, but I'm probably saying it's gonna be a lot more. We're gonna lose a lot more than that. And you compound that by the fact that when you're in your home for 25 years, anybody here in their home for 25 years? Yeah, have you applied for the exception, have you applied for the homestead?
Oh, I have homestead.
Huh? So you're here 25 years, and you no
33.
longer pay school taxes, right?
No, I pay school taxes.
No, there's a second homestead you can do.
Oh, no, I did not know about that.
You didn't know that?
Not the second homestead.
Well, I'm helping you out here.
Thank you.
I come up for that next year, and I'll apply for it as fast as I can get it. I'm willing to save, in my case, $900 a year. That's gonna cut my real estate taxes almost in half. And again, compound that with the,
Yeah.
Yeah, a hell of a lot more than that.
well, that's because you just bought your house.
And because you're younger.
I've
And you're
owned my
younger,
house for
yeah.
24 years.
Yep.
And people buy, if somebody bought my house right now, their taxes would jump up to $5,000.
I'll take that. Remember what I still pay?
Well, again, you own a new house, so we get more money for that.
And you're young.
But the point is, if you compound 25 years with no non-school taxes, I'd be paying almost zero taxes, almost zero. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out, but be close to it. Now, that means the city doesn't get that money that they've been getting, the county doesn't get that money that they've been getting, so. And the city needs another source of income. In a supermarket or a market center. And I don't have Walmart problem, but I know people have it. I've heard it from other people. But I've also heard from other people, we have no place to shop in Minneola. I have to go to Claremont for everything. Now, some people probably go other places, but I know for a fact that Amazon truck goes up and down my street. And there's only 5 houses on my cul-de-sac. Goes up and down the street 4 times a day. That's Amazon. That doesn't include FedEx that goes up and down twice a day, and UPS that on some days goes up and down 3 times a day. Okay? So they don't owe us any money in sales tax. We don't get anything out of home delivery. So if everybody shops online, we'll get nothing out of it. If we have a supercenter of some sort, we would probably get a few $1 million out of it. I don't know. I don't know how to estimate that. I can put numbers together, but I'd just be inventing things. I'm thinking, based on my experience shopping in Claremont, I now have to follow people around to get a parking space. Okay? When you get to that point, there's too many people shopping in Walmart. So they need another store close by, Why not put it in Minneola where the 100 or 200 people don't like it, but the 10,000 people who need to shop will shop there? I can almost guarantee you there'll be 8 to 10,000 people shopping there every week. So, what I'm suggesting is, and I won't use the term big box store, although I just said it, a decent market center, and I don't know who's gonna build that. I've thought about this until ad nauseum. Nobody will develop that land for boutique stores. No one would do that. So, the infrastructure it takes in the amount of property that's up there, I look at it being, sitting there doing nothing for the next 10 years. Or, if Dick German and Sunterra get hot to trot to sell it, who would they sell it to? Well, it seems to me the thing they would sell it to would be most likely apartment buildings. We'll get another 20,000 people living in Minneola. I mean, I don't know how many, even with the Walmart, there was a concept of having an apartment complex at one end of that 74 acres. So you could probably put 8 apartment complexes in that 74 acres, I'm guessing. If you hear something that doesn't sound right, just tell me, shut up and correct me. So, I don't see anything, I've had neighbors tell me, why don't the city do this, or why doesn't the city do that? Well, they don't understand that cities don't go out and take over people's property and decide who's gonna be there. And I'll tell you, in retrospect, I had a lot of problem when Sunterra and Richard German presented their city town center. I don't know whether you remember that or not. I even asked for a break, and I went and asked Dick, who's the developer here? He said, well, I'll develop it. And that gave me zero confidence, but nonetheless, I heard him, and we saw a lot of nice renderings, and we voted for it. I saw no way of building that town center. I just couldn't see a way of building it, and here it is. I think 4 years later, we're going nowhere. Nowhere. And we don't have a place to shop. And if you had boutique stores, you'd need 20 of them. A typical Walmart has 20 stores within it. And I'm sure a lot of people here have been to Walmart, even though they don't like it. The ones that don't like it still go there to see that they don't like it. How else do you know you don't like it if you've never been there? So, I know there are council members that are against it, and I can understand that. But I think, and I'd like you to just hear me, I don't see an alternative to do anything better. We're going to have one of 3 roads to go down, either a supermarket center, and by the way, Target will not build a store in Minneola. We have a market center, we have a apartment building complex the size of what they built in Boston, Massachusetts, which was the most horrible thing. They tore it down 30 years later because it was so bad. Or we have fallow land that just sits there for year after year after year. And they don't pay much in taxes on land that doesn't get built on. And if they do build a decent center there, and I'm not saying what a decent center would be, I've heard ideas from various people. And from my point of view, I could negotiate something better than a Sam's Club and a Walmart, but nonetheless, I would like to see the city gain that money. Having our residents go and fill the pockets of Claremont, who gets all this, they get all the restaurants, they get all the stores, they get all the sales taxes, the percentage that they get, and we get zippo. From my perspective, I'd like to see a marketplace there. If there was somebody else that could build a marketplace, I could go along with that. But all I can see is a lot of money being spent, and that takes a big, well-funded company. Thanks for listening.
Mayor, can I add one thing?
I'm sorry?
Yes or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to piggyback off of Joe, you know, we don't allow steel buildings, but we have crooked can, and we don't have big box stores, but we have warehouses that are unsightly from the road. And the other thing is, so when I go shopping at Publix, I eat at Chipotle because I can't park at Publix. So I do both my things at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, sorry, I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
So, Joe, to your point, I don't think the issue is that anybody would disagree that, you know, we need places or things to do in Minneola. I think the problem that was presented as, and obviously it's no secret, I was a huge proponent of not having that Walmart, is the idea of having two massive anchor stores, if you will, with that large square footage to come in and try to develop. Because at the end of the day, to your point, you're always gonna need an anchor store in order to get the restaurants, because no restaurant's gonna come in without having their due diligence and knowing that people are gonna come in out of the way, so you need a draw.
They're
right?
not gonna pay to develop the area either.
Correct,
They'll pay to
correct.
develop their lot, but that's it.
Correct. So it's not that Walmart or a big box or an anchor store, I don't even want to say big box, an anchor store is not needed there. I think it's the right anchor store is needed there. And one that doesn't require 280,000 square foot buildings. And I think this is important to understand, because to Joe's point, and you mentioned this earlier, can they put apartments there? 100%. As we all have seen, you know, with Live Local, they can go in anything that's commercial, that's industrial, and we have zero say. And I think that's important to understand, because as we start going into the mayoral race that's coming up, we have to make sure that whoever gets elected up here, that they have great relationships with these developers, and we as a city have great relationship with these developers, because if not, then it's not gonna go well. Because right now, the advantage that we have as Minneola is that we have such a strong relationship that rather than Dick saying, hey, I'm just gonna put apartments, that's it, I'm out of here, he's not proposing that. So he's still willing to work with us because of that great working business relationship we have. So I just hope, to your point, we continue having those relationships, and those that are coming up into the city have those type of relationships, because if not, this can turn really bad. This can turn. So I do agree with you there, but going to the Walmart, I think it's finding the right partnership and finding the right items that the city requires, and not 280,000 square foot buildings.
Well, who finds them?
That'll be on this particular parcel, be Dick.
Yeah, he's not looking.
But that's not
He's
for
done
us.
looking.
Correct, but that's not for us, the city, to say. We can't tell a business owner, hey, yeah, we can tell them, go find me a Bass Pro Shop, right? I would love a Bass Pro Shop. I don't have to drive all the way to Orlando to get my ammo,
But we
but
can't say the
unfortunately.
one that wants to come here can't come here. Well, we could say that. I don't know whether we win in that situation. I think.
No, we can't.
I think the gas station thing is still pending as to the magistrate. It's still pending. And it could still be there. I mean, it's possible that people who own land can do things with it within the scope of how the city building codes are written.
Now, let's also not forget that when Dick originally proposed the city center, and to your point, you know, maybe your idea was that was not gonna be able to be built, but we're not the developers, we're not the business experts. We rely on them to tell us, hey, this is what my team, this is what my partnerships are telling me we can do. And that's, I believe, why we voted on that. Now, yes, markets change and things change, and, you know, we're gonna have to see something different. And that something different may have an anchor store that is more favorable to the residents, and something that doesn't require, this is the most important part, something that doesn't require the amount of variances that the existing one that was presented required. So the 108,000 square feet, to your point earlier, the traffic, which they were gonna put a traffic light right next to public, so that was just all poorly designed, in my opinion, that was gonna create more nuances, thank you, to the residents, which is why I was always a proponent against it.
Moving on.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and I have nothing for this evening, thank you. For my closing
man.
remarks.
Ma'am, do you wanna explain what data centers are? No?
No,
okay.
actually, we're gonna, if I can get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I have a first, can I get a second?
Second.
I have a first and second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried, and we're gonna move ahead with call to order, moment of silence and pledge of allegiance for our Minneola Community Redevelopment Agency meeting.
Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Speedy Gonzalez, let's go.
All righty.
How about that ball?
Anyone in the public would like to speak? The floor is open. Going once, twice. We're done. Okay, thank you. Closing public comments. City manager's consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the city
Motion.
manager?
Second.
I'm still reviewing it.
I have
Thank
a
you.
first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Aye for the approval.
Thank you. Okay. Unreal. All righty. Council discussion and action items. Item 1, ordinance 2026-11, sale of city property, first reading.
Yeah, this actually isn't a first reading or an ordinance, it's just the approval of the CRA since the property was in the CRA area, so. The council already, as you know, approved it, so you need the CRA approval.
Okay, so we need the CRA approval.
No reading is necessary or anything.
Okay, so,
Be redundant.
Right.
so moved.
Thank you.
Okay.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Final public comments. Anyone in the audience have anything to say?
Would you guys like to talk about data centers?
No, moving right along. Public comments are closed, and from there, can I get a motion to?
Motion.
Second.
Wait.
Back my motion up.
Sorry.
Can
Excuse.
I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I don't think it's necessary for we to do a pledge of allegiance to the flag twice in one night. There's nothing that would mandate that we do it twice. It's redundant.
Okay.
When we do it for the first meeting, it should be good for the second meeting.
Attorney, is there any question for
No
that?
legal requirement to do it, he's correct, yes. You can- It's just custom, we've always done that, but
Yeah,
you
well,
you
it's
certainly can change that, yes.
Time to change.
Once you.
Well, if we
once you-
all want to change it, but go ahead.
Once you salute the flag in the military, you don't do it over and over again.
Okay.
So-
Can I get any comments or,
You need a motion.
yeah, or any comments or any questions or anything from the council before we move forward with this?
I would make a motion to go with Joe.
Okay, so we don't have any comments, so we'll move forward with making a motion.
Motion.
I have a first. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Sorry, it has,
We continue to be redundant.
There you go.
thank you.
I like the flag.
Me too. Okay. Moving ahead. Closing public comments. We're done. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
But data centers are very interesting.
That's great.